Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
And hello, everybody. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks for my sponsors at Robert Gibb and Sons. Hey, keep them in mind if you have any mechanical needs whatsoever. Robert Gibb and Sons has a special going right now. Call them, tell them Hutch sent you. If you've been thinking of upgrading your furnace and air conditioning system at all, do it now, because between now and the end of next month, they will throw in that water heater for free. Do it for efficiency. If your water heater's 10 years or older anyway, it's just time. Call Robert Gibb and Sons. Now, a look at what's going on. Again, I love having you share with me what you're seeing in your area, but we do have a lot to talk about. Where's the snow? Many are asking. There's been a lull in the system for certain, not starting as heavy or intense with the winds either. No question about it. This has been a challenging one, but we're not out of the woods yet. Remember, this was a multi-day system, and the main low pressure system will be moving north. Now, not all of our areas will be impacted. The National Weather Service changed some of the warnings, and here's what you need to know about that. Dale, good to see you. Hello from Wahpeton. Let's check out the very latest on that radar, and let's get you started with where the snow is falling right now. Look at southern Minnesota. Look at the Grand Forks area. Now, some snow also moving out of the Black Hills heading towards Pierre. That is some substantial snowfall at this hour as well. No snowfall in Grafton at this hour, even though the radar is showing activity. We were checking DOT cameras up that way. Not all of it's reaching the ground, but we do see the darker blue shades from Crookston down toward the Hillsboro area. Findlay and Cooperstown, maybe a few of those flakes could be making their way down to the ground. Hey, are you in these areas? Let me know, and let me know if you're seeing flakes. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Here is portions of the main event. Look at this. Now, as we loop this, you could certainly see the grayish shades here near Red Wing in southern Minnesota, south of the Twin Cities. And this radar is essentially just extremely heavy snowfall rates here. We're talking 1 to 2 inches per hour possible from those snow showers as they make their way through. So, taking a look at what we have going on there, that snow is making its way in, but look at the warmer air down to the south causing rain for Sioux Falls. A mix of wintry conditions across parts of central Nebraska right now. And here's the batch near Pierre. This has moved out of the Wall area and heading along the I-94 corridor towards Murdo right now. So that's it. Look at this big bare area out here as we speak. Nice little break in Fargo. I do have 3 inches of snow on the grassy areas in my lawn. Now, that would include the inch that fell by this morning already, but a total of 3 inches. It did not come with an abundant amount of wind. What's going on with this storm? Well, here's the very latest. Let's take a look at what you need to know with regards to this. And I want to start with the forecast model. So to do that, we were watching which models started out the best in the last update. And here's what you need to know before we go to bed. There is going to be a risk of some severe wintry weather working its way through the region. I'm going to circle the areas of impact as I am expecting Fargo to be right on the precipice of where this heavier batch of snow will set up. I think it will be heavier to the south and to the east of Fargo, but these areas here, eastern South Dakota into southern Minnesota and central Minnesota, and toward the North Shore, will have elevated and enhanced snowfall totals. So that is what I'm seeing, and that's what my gut is telling me after looking at many models, and I'm going to share that with you right now. The snow doesn't start overnight tonight. We have a huge area of quietness, but the main moisture in the low pressure center with the wind and with the intense precipitation field here is going to slowly start moving northward now as we head through the overnight hours. So keep that in mind. Here's a quick look at that. And again, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate your support. Your support of stars throughout the day has been amazing. I really do appreciate it. It helps Hutch build Hutch's weather. Now let's take a look at the model. To do that, I'm going to pull up a view here of one, and we're going to take a look, pardon me, while I get one that looks a little bit more regional. There we go. All right, here we go. This is a look at a rapidly updating model. It updates every hour. I've talked to you about this throughout the day today, and it is one that shows some of the more intense bands of snow. Let me show you what's going on right now. We just looked at the radar, and I'm showing you that indeed, as we take a look at this model, it does have the South Dakota, snow showers. It does not have what we're seeing out near Hillsborough showing up, but it does have the heavier band of snow not far from the Red Wing area that's moving into an area south of Minneapolis right now. So it's not starting off too bad. We call this initializing. This model initialized pretty well. Now, the windiest of the wind is right down here where the isobars are really close together. You get up here in our area, those isobars are not that friendly, and for the most part, we're not seeing those ripping winds that I anticipated. And look at this, quiet as we go through the overnight hours. Here is midnight. Quiet. Just a few flakes out there. Detroit Lakes overnight forecast. Here it comes, Jeremy. It's on your screen right now. Yes, your gut forecast has been the best model, always has been. Val, thank you so very much. I listen to my gut sometimes. You just have to trust what you see and what's going on the radar and then match it up and try to see if it makes sense. Does this make sense? Yes. Look at this. This is midnight, and then as we head through the overnight, it starts lifting north. See these isobars right here in South Dakota, how close they are? That is the main event. We start to see a few flakes flying down to the southern part of the valley, but whether or not they make their way down to the ground because of this east-northeasterly flow remains to be seen. Here's when the chance increases as we go through the morning hours. This is rise and shine time here. You're heading to work and school, and the wind and the heavier band of snow moves from into eastern South Dakota and central Minnesota. Look what's going on in the far southern reaches of Minnesota. That's wet rain, not white rain. Now, going through the day, this again, subtract 5. This is 9 in the morning. We're going to have increasing wind, and it will become increasingly northeasterly throughout the day. Here comes the snow, and it looks to persist for many areas as we go through the day. It could make its way as far north as Grand Forks. A winter weather advisory continues for you. Look at this heavy batch now, and look at the ridiculous winds here. We're talking about Brookings all the way up into the Sisseton and Watertown areas. This will stretch and extend. Look at that. That's Otter Tail County there, inundated with heavy snow. Brainerd Lakes area north into Hubbard County as well for the heaviest band of snow. Look where it goes, folks. It could be pushing straight north, and it makes sense because this low pressure center, as it moves north, is going to bring very close to the center of low pressure. See, usually within about 75 to 100 miles or so of the surface low is where we see that heaviest band of precipitation. Now, the upper level system does impact that as well, but the bottom line is that it makes sense to Hutch that we're going to see an enhancement of snowfall totals. Will Fargo see it? We're right on the edge, so I say yes. There's going to be wind and snow, but it will be heavier. It will be heavier. South of Fargo, Richland County, maybe even out towards Gwinner, Sisseton, Britain, South Dakota, Lake Traverse, all of you folks in and around Wheaton, all the way into Lakes Country, and it just really expands all the way up into the Iron Range, where the North Shore will see the most lofty of the snowfall totals. Here we go. This is Monday evening drive time home. This looks less than fun. Here's a little nook in the Red River. That is Fargo. Just south of us, it remains heavy for Breckenridge, Wahpeton, Rothsay, all the way to Fergus Falls. Northern Otter Tail County means Pelican Rapids. That Pelican's going to be white out there as we go through the day. This is the evening time continuing, and it finally starts letting up. But look at the isobars. This is that northerly wind. Now it will be almost straight out of the north as temperatures dive. And we will have blowing and drifting to contend with all night, Monday night and into Tuesday morning. And look at this. More snow for northern parts of Minnesota that could swirl back in towards Lake of the Woods area. Mark my words, we're not expecting to see significant snowfall amounts in Lake of the Woods, but that is one model's rendition. Now we will review one more model. Thank you, Marcia. I really appreciate the showing of support through your sharing stars with me. Kylie, good to see you too. And you know what? Tell a friend that Hutch is still doing the weather. I was out at a function this weekend, and so many people didn't realize I was here on Facebook doing weather. Please pass the word. It helps me out a great deal, and it helps me out if you follow me on Facebook, and you'll get some notifications, not always, but some notifications from Facebook when Hutch is going live. Here is a model that was doing a pretty fair job with things when we last spoke. This model looks like it's fallen apart. I don't like it anymore. I've just changed my mind. Let's go to another model, shall we? Let's take a look. The reason I say that is it's not showing any snow in the western Dakotas at all. So I think it's not initiating very well. This model is a little bit better. Let's take a look at it. This shows similarly, it doesn't get cranked back up until we get to Monday morning at about 8 to 10 o'clock. You're going to rise and shine and wipe the sleep out of your eyes. And you go, gosh, what was Hutch talking about? The best chance for snow to resume here in Fargo is going to be mid-morning and toward the midday. And then it does snow at times, heavy potentially, in southeast North Dakota. We could get some in this model also reaching us far north as Grand Forks, Hillsboro. If you are in Findlay, if you are in Hope, a chance for some snow showers there. But if you're in Jamestown, it doesn't look like it's going to make its way back that far west. It's all but over there. The snow lasts all the way till midnight Monday before it starts wrapping out. And there's that event up on the North Shore with snow continuing there. These two models are very similar in what they are showing. Now, the European model, since it goes out so far, is not done yet, so we can't show that to you. The Canadian model that goes out that far is not done yet, but I do have a shorter range Canadian model that is a higher resolution model. Let me see if I can show that one to you. Let's see here. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. This is the newest one. It does have the snow out in the western Dakotas as we go through the evening. A nice break for us as we head through the overnight. And here it is. Here's rise and shine time Monday morning. Most of it's in South Dakota. The storm system lifts north and it's game on. But look at this model says it stays south of Fargo with the heaviest snow. And it really impacts Lakes country more so than Fargo. So this model says a lower chance of snow. What does it mean? Hutch, can you give me just a forecast here? Yes, Hutch can do that. Let me see if I can find a forecast. I know I made one. All right, let me find my map here. As we take a look, okay, here we go. I'm just going to show it to you on the model. Now, if this Canadian model were to work out, that's one thing. But I think the other two models, we'll go with those, and I'll give you my 2 cents on what we're feeling with regards to that. Again, check this out. Snowfall. Some of this is going to be wet, heavy snow. The farther south you go, the wetter and heavier it will be. So this stuff in southern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, that's that cement type snow. It's wet, it's heavy, and it doesn't accumulate as deep as quickly. So these numbers might be a little higher. As we get into the colder air here in the Northern Valley, well, we'll have a chance at seeing some more fluffy snow. So here we go. Here's this forecast model. What does it mean? The warning continues for Fargo-Moorhead from my friends at the National Weather Service for a reason. The potential for additional snow on top of the 3 inches sitting outside in South Moorhead right now is an additional 1 to 5 inches. I believe that's very possible throughout the day tomorrow. So remember, when you rise and shine, if you're an early riser, it probably will not be snowing and blowing crazy in your location unless you're down in South Dakota. It will drift northward as we go through the day as that low pressure center moves northward. The Sisseton Hills will be the biggest winners. If you're in the Traverse County area, if you're near Wheaton, if you're all the way up north and towards, the Breckenridge, Wahpeton area, Fergus Falls, you're going to be very close to the enhanced snow. Morris, Benson, you folks as well will be in it, and Britton, South Dakota. Look at Jamestown, look at the Valley City area. Not a lot of additional snowfall on top of what you got. Well, for my neighbors in Bemidji, there's a chance for some significant snow. Yes, we'll go ahead and say there is a reasonable chance at 5 to 9, maybe 10 inches of snow in and around Bemidji, Park Rapids, the Lakes country, including Brainerd Lakes area, all the way down through Alexandria and into the Twin Cities, just on the outside doorstep there. Why does it look like lower amounts there? Well, it's going to turn to rain. In fact, it might be a slushy nightmare mess down there. So remember this, we still have wind to deal with and we still have some concerns in your forecast. So that's a look at what we have going on, and that is the very latest. I do want to end with what the National Weather Service has, because they have issued the watches and the warnings that we are making sure that you are aware of. Let me make sure you're caught up with that. So we'll go back to our radar here. Dun, dun, dun. All right, now we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go here. I just got to turn on these watches and warnings so you can visualize the area coverage. Now, there was, I'm going to turn the radar off in Fargo and move it down here. Now, you can really see winter storm warnings in the red. Grand Forks, Highway 200, you have been dropped from the warning and you are now in a winter weather advisory. That includes all of northwesternmost Minnesota. An advisory is issued when the conditions are not expected to be life-threatening and you're expected to have lower snowfall potential. That matches up with what our forecast was showing. Get out into Jamestown, Stutsman County, out towards Bismarck, lower snowfall potential. Still the risk tonight, overnight, and into the morning hours exists here. This is a blizzard warning, by the way. Could there be a blizzard in our area? Hutch says yes. But in our area, does that mean Fargo? I don't think the chances of a blizzard in Fargo are all that good unless we're talking about some real bad blowing snow. It could happen in our rural areas outside of town. I think the best risk for blizzard-like conditions is going to be along and closer to that track of low pressure. That's where the strongest wind will be. And that's where the really heavy snowfall rates will likely be as well. If you can imagine this area here in central South Dakota and extend it up into central Minnesota, that's where the best chance is. I'm not saying we should have a blizzard warning. We got to see what the radar shows as things are pushing northward in the morning. It's prudent not to issue the warning too early. There is a blizzard warning for the North Shore. The elevation there is going to just enhance the snowfall potential in those areas. That is where we definitely have a chance for some high snow amounts. Winter storm warning all the way to the Twin Cities and areas just north of you in Rochester. All right, Gina, thanks for your kind words. Sandy, thanks for joining. I appreciate that. At least 4 inches here in Vining. Bruce, is that what you have measured? I think, didn't you say that you had, was it about 2 inches earlier? So Vining sitting at 4 inches of snowfall. I'm going to mark that down. Now I like to pass that along to my National Weather Service friends. If anybody else has a measurement, that would be nice. You can take an average of a few places, get away from the drifts of a house or around the cars. Try not to do it off the deck either, because the deck can cause snow to blow off your roof and enhance what you're measuring on your deck. We haven't had a lot of snow here in Moorhead, so you can compare it to some grassy areas as well. This is a tricky system to predict, Michael says. Ding, ding, bingo. Why? Because it's multi-day. And our forecast models that we rely on for guidance, because Hutch's brain, as big as it he might think it is, can't calculate what the atmosphere is going to look like in 2.5 to 3 days. It ain't happening, folks. I'm telling you. I'm just a simple guy who likes a good cup of coffee. But the models help us envision where things are going. And this storm system being a 3-day system, starting Saturday out west in Montana, it did snow today, but not very much in our area. And the wind didn't happen. It did snow like crazy in parts of southern Minnesota and into Wisconsin. And we did get some measurable snow taking place out in parts of South Dakota. We have measurable snow in our area as well. It just wasn't particularly heavy yet. But remember, this warning is for the event starting this morning is when the warning started and going until Tuesday morning. So keep that in mind. With that said, these warnings are in place now. There are some cancellations and delays taking place. We cannot anticipate what things are going to look like exactly on Tuesday morning, because that's still a couple days away, but it does look very windy with the snow showers exiting. Whether or not roads will close and all of those things, we will just have to see. But all of the risks from this storm do remain. Thank you so much, Corey, for sharing your support of stars here. Hi from Cullum, blowing and drifting snow tonight. 6 inches is the report from, let me see, Wadena. Sandy, thank you for your measurement. And if you have measured this, if you want to put that information down, I measured it, that would be good. That really does help too. But again, I appreciate you going out and taking that report there from Wadena. So Wadena picking up a little bit more in the way of snow. Thank you so much. No snow in Walhalla yet. Nope, the northern part, not seeing so much. So the average FM area is about 6, maybe, because we only have 4 here in Moorhead. Ashley measures 4 in Moorhead. I was outside a while ago and measured 3. So yeah, we have 3 to 4 inches. What's the average going to be? 6? Ashley, I'm not certain of that. I'm not certain if you're talking about a measurement. I'm not sure if you're talking about the forecast. The forecast is for an additional 1 to 5 inches in Fargo, and that's being pretty conservative. If that band of higher snow sets up, we're in that questionable zone. We're in an area where the uncertainty is quite high because it just will really ramp down around Fargo-Moorhead. It could be that our northern communities get very little and our southern ones get quite a bit. So thank you so much. Allie, wow, I really appreciate you and your support of stars, which help contribute to Hutch expanding Hutch's weather. Thank you. I'm humbled by all of you who continue to do that. All right, let's see here. I'm looking for more measurements to write down. Thanks so much for the update here as we take a look across the region. I think I'm looking for measurements here, and I'm not seeing too many more. So thank you for those who have reported what you're seeing so far. It does help. Helps Hutch see what the radar was showing me, whether it made it down to the ground or not. Looking at my friends at the National Weather Service offices, I don't see any reports from there. The Bismarck office reported 2.8 inches at the airport. That's in Bismarck, North Dakota. So they did not get a lot of snow there. Are they done? They might get a little bit more this evening into the early overnight, but that does look like that's about it. Snowfall measurements here from Dickinson. Some of them that I'm seeing out there were upwards of 8 to 10 inches, if they're believable or not. They're pictures that were shared. So snowfall reports are coming in. All right, let me check out the questions here. I sure appreciate the interactivity we have on this platform. Thank you. Was wondering for both aspects. You're amazing. Wow, thank you, Ashley. Doggone it. Thank you very much. Light dusting in Michigan, North Dakota. Yeah, that northern area, just a lot less on the radar. I can throw the radar up now, and we're just going to look at the local radar. Now, I would love to know if it's raining in western Grand Forks County. Larimore here, we're starting to see that. Let's take a quick look at the road reports here, just because Hutch likes to do that. Oh boy, we have no travel advisory here for western North Dakota. This is a new update, so I want to make sure that folks know about it. This is a no travel advisory out west. So anywhere west of Bismarck, no travel advised all the way to Beach, North Dakota. The interstate is not closed, just no travel is advised. Snow and increasing wind are a problem, and there's a batch of heavier snow making its way through the Bismarck area right now. And we can see here's Flasher just south of Bismarck. Visibility doesn't look too terrible there. I do see a no travel advisory with red dots here on Interstate 94 between Bismarck and Jamestown as well. That's usually what the red means. No travel is advised. I'm just going to click on it and see. Yeah, no travel is advised on I-94, and it's, between Jamestown and Bismarck. So there'll be some counties added to this the way it looks to Hutch. So breaking news. Go ahead and share this with your friends. Breaking news. We have no travel advisory in western North Dakota, and it does look like it extends out to the James River Valley in Jamestown. Here's a look at the Medina area, where we do have a few flakes flying and icy roads and some snow accumulating with the wind that is expected to pick up as well. 0 snow reported in Roosevelt. Thanks so much. I'm curious about Roseau. Jason, that's a really good question. Roseau is in that no man's land where it really doesn't look like the western part of your county picks up much. Now, out near War Road, you might pick up a little bit more. So it's going to be a ramp, but it doesn't look like a lot. I'm going to say 0 to 3 inches for your area is what I was seeing on the models. All right, just came from Bismarck, and it's icy in many areas. Scott, thank you for your report. Very icy roads reported on Interstate 94. So that is why there is a no travel advisory between Jamestown and the Montana state line. A quick peek at the Fargo area for those of you who haven't been outside today. We have a little dusting of snow that looks like it's totaled up in my yard to 3 inches in South Moorhead. I just got a report of 4. Not much going on in Oaks reported. Thanks so very much. Now let's check out Minnesota, because Minnesota, it was getting pretty crazy out there in a couple of places on the intensity of the snow. And as we check that out, as we get ready to close out our day, bomb. Okay, all the pink that you see here are areas with icy or snow-covered roads. Waban to Lake George, yep, we've got snow-covered roads. Look at that nonsense. This is US 71, and you can barely see the road out there. The snowfall isn't particularly heavy, but the road is definitely covered. We have a crash reported here near the Detroit Lakes area on Highway 10. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and jump in a plow camera, shall we? Our road crews are going to do a great job overnight to try to keep up with this nonsense. There's a little break right now. Would you look at all the asterisks, and purple asterisks are crashes, folks. So there are a number of crashes on Interstate 94. They begin near Ashby, the Ashby exit, and continue all the way through Alexandria at this time. Now, if I take a look at what it looks like, grab your cup of coffee and sit in this plow seat right here, and you can see what they're seeing now. The roads are covered with snow and it is icy. That's Minnesota. Some of the heavier snow bands, as I look at the radar immediately here right now, are just south of Minneapolis out towards Rochester. And that area we have in Minneapolis and St. Paul near Shakopee, some ridiculous snowfall rates right now. Let's check in on the Twin Cities, shall we? Here's the snow plows trying to keep up with things south of St. Paul. Let's go there. That looks pretty heavy on the radar to me. Yeah, and this snowplow driver has their work cut out for them. So give a snowplow driver a thanks, because they're going to be working the hard shifts tonight, keeping everything going. Now, down towards Mankato, it's showing up as rain on the radar. Let's see if it's rain. Owatonna and out towards Mankato and Rochester. So if we go down to that neck of the woods here, let's check this out. This is what we're seeing. Really hard to see. Guess what, Hutch? It's dark. I can't see anything there. Let's try to get into a town and see what we got. Okay, here we go, Cannon Falls. Let's go to a plow in Cannon Falls. And here we go. This is what it looks like down there. That's a concoction of slop. Remember we said snow first, rain next? Look at that. That's making a concrete out there. The good news is some warmer temperatures are on the way as we go into tomorrow for southern Minnesota. So in areas south of the Twin Cities, as we head in towards, say, Owatonna, and let's get down a little bit closer. That's Ottawa. Let's get over here. Okay. How about Big Pine, Belle Pine? Let's look at this snowplow. Yeah, all of southern Minnesota has a bunch of very heavy snow, as well as some cement-looking, very heavy wet snow. So that's what's going on in Minnesota right now. Heavy snow will return as we go through the overnight, as we talked about on the model. So that's a look. Let me see if I have any questions. Holy moly on the crashes. Yeah, there's a lot of fender benders out there. All right. Angela says, not really. He said it's very unclear based on the models. Angela, yeah, the hard part and difficulty with a multi-day event is that sometimes the National Weather Service and meteorologists will wait till the day before to issue a forecast on snowfall. But we cannot do that with a 3-day event, because people need to know whether they should keep plans or cancel plans. And all we as meteorologists try to do is give you as much information as possible to make the best decision for you and your family. I understand the frustration. I've heard from many of you that said, we canceled our plans. Thanks a lot, weather person. I get that. I understand that. The models didn't do very well with this system as we made our way a little bit closer. There were a couple models that showed up this morning that showed things were shifting south for today, and that's what we saw. Now, as we await into tomorrow, we don't want people to let their guard down. Tomorrow looks like a rough and tumble day in southeast North Dakota, most of eastern South Dakota, and most of Minnesota, minus the northwestern quadrant. And that includes our viewers in Grand Forks. Crookston to the airbase future prediction. Abby, let me tell you, it does look like the airbase has a band of snow over it right now. Let me go ahead and take a look at the roads. All day long, this has not been making its way down to the ground. So let's take a look, because if you're in Crookston and you want to head out to the base, the road report there is a green. That green says, yeah, it's not too bad. There are flakes flying there. Do you see them? So finally, after all day with the radar showing snow, we're getting a few flakes starting to make their way down to the ground in Grand Forks. So it hasn't been heavy there throughout the day, but the radar has shown snow there all day. Why isn't it snowing? Because the lower atmosphere is very dry and it's taken a while for it to saturate. There was some snow in Devil's Lake, by the way. Here's a look at the beautiful Devil's Lake in the distance with the lights, and it looks like there's some accumulation of ice and tracks on the road surface there on Highway 2. A dusting reported by Ryan in Reynolds. So thanks for the update there. Does that include the FM area? Yeah, FM area will have a chance tomorrow in the mid-morning to afternoon for some snow, and it could be heavy at times. The wind does look like it will intensify as this low pressure center works its way north towards us. So we look to have a fairly windy day. I'm going to pull up the 7-day planner because I did make that for you so you can have a peek at what we're looking at for the week ahead. It's an important week again, and we've been advertising at least a chance of snow for the Easter holiday week end. And here's what we see. Snow tomorrow, 1 to 5 inches. Let me put this on your screen so you too can enjoy the forecast here. And I'm going to duck out. Ready? 3, 2, 1, duck, duck, goose. There I am, gone. Okay, tomorrow we rise and shine. Your temperature is going to be right around that 15 degree mark, 14 degrees. Well, let's go this, 26 degrees. I correct myself. We're going to be steady eddy temperatures tomorrow. The wind will be easterly or northeasterly in the morning, gusting to 30 miles per hour, and it picks up as it becomes northeasterly and northerly throughout the day. And we will have a chance at, on the low end, 1 inch of snow in Fargo. And on the high end, we could see upwards of 5 or more inches of snow. I say or more because there are some models that still have us getting 8 or 9 inches of snow. But I think the best chance is in that 1 to 5 inch category. So what I'm hearing, says Brian, for the 95% of us in the FM area, it's going to be normal day and not worry about anything. I don't know where you hear about that or where you're hearing that. I did go through a couple of models, and it does still look like the risk is here for some measurable snow, and we still have the risk to pop on another 5 or more inches on top of the 3 that we got. So that, with winds to 40 miles per hour, would make travel pretty difficult, if not dangerous, across portions of Cass County. That's why the National Weather Service has kept the warning for Fargo and for the Cheyenne River Valley through the Valley City area, as well as our neighbors off to the east in Clay County. And then basically the better chance for measurable snow and heavy snow will be south of Fargo. There's no question about it. Hairspray weather, Paula, for sure. All right, here we go. Bryant says it'd be nice if they would explain that and not report it as if we're going to die. I hope that's not what you're getting here. I'm not trying to tell you that we're going to die. There's a winter storm warning. We've had many of those throughout history. But for travelers, we certainly don't want people traveling across the region and getting in the car and saying, this storm is not happening tomorrow, so I'm going to make a trip, and then get out and get surprised. The forecast is for snow to return tomorrow. It will return from the south, though. So first thing in the morning, you will get up in the morning, you'll stretch your arms in Fargo and look out your window. In the morning, it looks like our chance of snow is pretty low. But by the time we get to late morning in the noon hour, it does look like that chance increases. I get it. We said the same thing for today. Be where you want to be by noon, Hutch said. We had snow. We had snow falling, but it wasn't the heavy kind. And it did not come with the wind that we anticipated, the models anticipated, I anticipated. That said, adjustments were made to the forecast, and that's what we needed to do to make sure that we get the information out. Appreciate all of you guys. I don't mind being held to the fire. Yes, it's a tough job. If it was too tough, I'd find something else to do. I appreciate answering the questions. I'm stand up. I'm going to stand here and tell you today's forecast. Well, we could have done better in some parts, but we're following guidance from models for several days. And you saw them with me. Our models were showing a very heavy band of snow, and it did include the FM area. And at times it did include Grand Forks as well. So we're doing the best that we can with the information that we have. And we pass that along to you to make judgments for yourself. And tomorrow could be a very challenging day across the area. One last look at the model. So in case you missed it, here you go. One more time. Let's go ahead and take a look. I like this one better, a more wide view of the region. And I'm going to go to the model that I think might be handling this the best. This one is not it. Let's go to this one. Okay, there's some snow out west. There's some snow down south, and we have a break here. That's what's going on. Overnight, this is midnight. As we go into daybreak and into the morning, it's snowing in central South Dakota. Not so much here in Fargo. And again, this is very early in the morning at sunrise. Now, as we head past sunrise and we get towards mid-morning, okay, here we're talking about, well, let's say this is about midday, okay? boom, the snow moves into the southern part of the valley. We could be seeing some here in the Fargo area as well. The darker blue indicates some heavier snow. It drifts to the north. It pushes up close to Grand Forks. Will it make its way down to the ground? Most of the snow tonight didn't. But there's a chance. There's a chance for you in Roseau to see the snow showers in the afternoon and evening. Look at where the heavy snow persists throughout the day, and the wind looks to be strong. So based on this, and about 4 other models and other models that I've looked at, this is where we'll have the best chance at seeing impactful snow. It will be heavier south of Fargo. It will be heavier east of Fargo. But Fargo still stands a chance to add on another 5 inches of snow, maybe even a little bit more. That is your forecast. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for supporting my sponsors over at Robert Gibb and Sons. They are fantastic. And if you need work done, make sure you keep them in mind. Remember, they do residential and commercial work as well. Could you imagine, says Mary, what would be said if you didn't give a warning? Well, that's true. Sometimes, warnings are given. We don't want to overwarn people for storms, and that's not what's going on here. But that was an awful big warned area yesterday, right? It went from eastern Montana all the way into Wisconsin, from the international border all the way down south into Nebraska and Colorado. Huge warning. But this storm, and we talked about this, I don't know if you recall, but I said these global models have a larger grid, so it makes the storms look bigger, huger. That's what we're seeing here. See how this looks kind of more of a skinny area? Do you remember me talking about that? Now do you see what I mean? I'll take you to a extended European model and show you just how big this storm looks on the European model. So here you go. And there is that big, huge area of snow and impact that we were supposed to be getting now. And then it does narrow it down just a little bit, but it's still a pretty big storm covering almost all of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Kansas, South Dakota. You get the picture. These global models can sometimes expand the impacts because they're using a global grid. That's the point. All right. Thank you all so very, very much. You have been the very best. And again, I don't mind questions. And if you don't like the way things sounded before, I certainly wasn't trying to make it sound like you were going to die. That wasn't the point. But we want to arm you with the information we have so you can make wise choices. And believe me, we do the very, very best that we can. You all are great. I will be back tomorrow with updates in the morning. You're watching Hutch's Weather. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, what's left of it.